police captains and the like, medical doctors, and it just didn't make sense. And I had this isn't about the suicide of an individual tortured mind by virtue of some demon from his or her past, but this is something that is located culturally. And so I wanted to ask a cultural question about this phenomenon. I wanted to ask a cultural, psychological question about how is it that these 15 men within the space of 10 years committed suicide when this was a phenomenon that was totally alien to this community before? Now, how does one ask such a question if you approach it from a cultural, psychological point? The question was never, why do you think he did it, for example? A simple question as a researcher might be, a psychologist, that might be your immediate point of entry. Why did he do it? If you interview the people, and my mission was from a cultural, psychological perspective that things of action are situated in context. What did he do? What did he say in the days and months leading up to his death? Not the why question, but the what did he do? And from there, in similar ways with the camera, trying to find that intersect with culture itself, culture and identity. I don't want to say it meets up because it's messier than meeting up, because it is always meeting up, you know. But so in that, yeah, so I wanted to ask bigger questions than just the individual question. I think that is the answer, a bigger question than the individual motivation.
All right, any questions thought about something that happens to me?
I understand that the work that you do and the sort of immersion that you have to perform gives you probably a very much deeper perspective than the average person on historical facts, historical cultural facts about the past of this country. But what I'd like to know is those engagements, do they ever give you sort of future-oriented ideas? Do you have any opinions about where things are going in this country? You know, the identity of cultural makeup or processes are ongoing, what they'll mean in the future. Where are we going as a sort of national unit or as a multitude of cultural units?
Certainly, I mean, I have those thoughts for myself about places I'd like things to go the way which I'd like things to unfold. And to the extent that I tell research stories or research narratives, to the extent that I kind of offer them or give them, but I always think of them as that, as an offering. And I can't have control over what people do with it, but you know, I give it in a sense of a promise. You know? I hope it will land in a certain place where it will have a certain effect. Like, I write these things and I try to write them in mainstream journals, and you know, I try to get them in there, sneak them in there, because I want to affect something, and I hope this is part of it. It is a wanting to do something, and I know very well what that is. For this session, for example, I'd like for people to think much more critically about psychology as a human science, or about other ways of doing psychology, or about what does he mean, or might he mean, or might he intend, or with this notion of an ethical psychology, and what might that mean to me as doing. So yes, I do have some of those thoughts, and I do offer it in a certain direction. There's always an equality. There's you have to decide. You know, the world won't wait, justice won't wait. You have to decide. You can't just lounge around. You have to act. You know? But what that end is, I can't of course guarantee. I can hope. You know? I can send it in a direction. I don't know. But I have, yes, short answer.
Comments, question, query? Picking up on a number of songs, and something which you got was from my interview with Schneider's, and as well, and I call them moral dilemmas that I have asking myself these questions, and it seems to me sometimes that psychology has this armchair position that's a passive discipline, that it's more of a sit and wait kind of thing. And for me myself, as a psychologist, as a contradiction. I'm starting to think of myself more as like a politician. I even call myself a more politician. And like what did you say about then taking action, and not action as in violent sense, but going out and listening to people, but then also trying to do something with your knowledge. What did you say about wanting to do something?
I would say God bless your soul. So I will give you strength to just that. Give you strength to try and to shake up the establishment in that direction, which is part of why I'm so heartened by what's happening here in Lisa, for example, to the extent that is, I imagine, I'm speaking to Hartman a bit, but part of what you want to do is to go out. How can you not? I share your sense of a large section of the psychological fraternity that sits back more so than it leaps forward. And the question is always, as well, that notion of how to leap, and that's where the whole wrestling comes in. Because the leaping, or the action, can be harmful as well. One needs to, and so there's also a wrestling with what that means. What that means.
Thanks. Comment, question?
Let me just quickly I didn't say how to do it, but with what that means to do it. And I think that's important.
I've also got a question about there are lots of questions that I actually want to ask you because, okay, let me start from the beginning. You introduced yourself as a Tonki from the Buddha. You immediately had to pocket it because I'm a Burki from Karibo. And then you were talking about where you are academically and the people that you meet are doing that, etc. and so forth. It was like a voice coming from my own head kind of thing. So yes, I'm very much with what you're saying and whatever. I also want to thank you for telling the students that they should read Freud in the original, because when I tell them, they think, oh, he did when he was young, yes. So it's actually very important, I think, to go back to that kind of thing. But apart from the more sort of academic questions that I would like to engage with on with you, just a simple question. How do you think these things can be introduced into psychology? Because isn't it? And I think most people here can see the kind of sophistication in your thinking that this leads to. But I don't know, where do you introduce it in psychology? If you talk now to our master students, for instance, they think they're so bored with you even before you start your lecture with them.
That's a tough. I think in South Africa, for example, some of this has been done. I think of Rhodes University, Trey Kruger. Rhodes University has in the longest time kind of had this strain of phenomenological psychology or phenomenology. I don't know what the current status is, but there are these little pockets, and hopefully things like you're inviting me, and I'm also attached to Stellenbosch, so I do some stuff there, and there are some people like Edward, people in other places whose work kind of touches on this and explore these. I think some of those are the ways in which it can happen. And to the extent that I don't quite know how the structure of the curriculum is currently, but I would imagine, for example, professionals, there's so little room for new courses, and there's all this jockeying for what needs to be taught and what can be taught, that it's very hard to make those I would imagine the uphill battle to introduce a philosophical psychology course and some of the very professional psychology training programs. And I don't know that there is an easy answer, but that we fight that, that we try keeping on doing it, and that our dissertations are avenues for exploring those issues. and that we encourage our students, especially at the dissertation level, because those might also be the students that come back to teach, and in that way we kind of venture. I know this is an unsatisfying answer, at least it is for me, but it's just a continuing, I think, knocking on the door, if you will, and exploiting, as it were, the resources that are there. I think we are so fragmented. I mentioned drones, and I mentioned certain people, but maybe getting together in a certain sense of a collective, for whom we can organize around making some of these happen at certain universities or at a level of an institute or in a conference for students. I was invited to teach at the Stellenbosch, the Stellenbosch Academy, for example, the Doctoral Academy, African Doctoral Academy. These are students from all over Africa, doctoral students, that come to Stellenbosch for a couple of months. And it's a really neat thing because these are the students that would have gone to USA and that would have gone to Europe. And Stellenbosch snatches them and brings them to Stellenbosch and they get their doctorate there. And for the longest time, they only got, for example, quantitative research exposure. And then one person, Tony Naidu, says, you know what, Leswin, we should get you here. And something happens. Something opens up. And now they get that there. And these are doctoral students that will go back to the Democratic Republic of Congo and go to Kenya and will become